So much for being here. I want to get your reaction to that report first, or his comments. What do you make of where we need to go?
Well, John, I was hoping you would ask me about the first couple of the NFL, Tay-Tay and Trav. That's what we wanted to talk about. You know, the Chiefs are on today. But really, this is a serious situation. You know, the problem is the border. 10,000, 11,000, 12,000 people crossing the border every day. Senator Durbin, a person I do respect, but I think his solution of having illegal immigrants, giving them amnesty and joining the military is a non-starter. Look, this is the same military that kicked people out because they wouldn't take the COVID shot, but now he wants to take people that are here illegally and turn them into the military. I think it's a bad look for the military. I think it'll be hard to do. I think he mentions another problem. This is what the Biden administration does. They create one crisis, try to solve it with another crisis. And in this particular case, our military numbers are down. The reason they're down is because of their woke policies, that the military right now is more interested in pronouns than they are teaching lethality.
It's incredible that that's top of the agenda, like you mentioned. But this week, I want to get to this as well. Senate Republicans blocked Democrats' their bid to lump the Ukraine funding, Israel funding, or border security into a one-all package. Here's how Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre described your actions to this. Let's watch.
It's stunning that we've gotten to this point. Right? It's stunning that we have gotten to this point, and that Republicans in Congress willing to give Putin a gift, the greatest gift that Putin could hope for. That's what we're seeing. And so they are playing chicken with our national security. That's what we're seeing here, and history will remember them harshly.
Okay, so I mean, KJP, she
God bless her.
God, yeah, you know, it's word salad all the time. But no, what's your rebuttal to this?
Listen, it's the border. The border, the border, the border. We're not doing anything for other national security issues until we secure our own border. Let's make America first. Let's secure our own border. We should take these out one piece at a time. We're not going to talk about Ukraine funding, though, until we have meaningful border security reform on the table. And that would be just as simple as starting with just some policy changes. We've given the Democrats now 4 opportunities for standalone Israel funding. But the Democrats do not support Israel. They're pro-Palestine. They're pro-Iran. We've given them 4 times, 4 opportunities, the chance to vote for standalone Israel bill. I think if we took that off the table, then we could probably go back and work some of these other pieces. We should do them one at a time, but it starts with the border.
Why do you think that they want to push this one aid package for everything?
I think that they cater to this immigration agenda, to the immigration lobby, the pro-Palestine lobby, that they cater to them. And in reality, they don't want to vote on any of this. They don't want border security. They want these 10 million people that have crossed the border under Joe Biden. They think they're going to be voting for Democrats as well. They're trying to register them as voters as well. So they want this problem. They don't want to have to take the vote on Israel because they don't support Israel. So they're using Ukraine as an excuse to say we're not going to vote on this.
So why do you think, you see Mayor Adams here in New York City go to the Biden administration, if they want these 10 million to come in, the illegals, why are they not putting more support in cities that are overrun with them right now?
Yeah, this is, why I can't explain what Joe Biden's philosophy is, or there's no logic behind it for the most part.
Right.
But again, Joe Biden is willing to accept 300 Americans dying every day from fentanyl poisoning in exchange for 10,000 people crossing our border illegally every day. And again, among those 10,000 people are known terrorists, aliens of interest, gotaways. Every day, thousands of gotaways are crossing our borders. They've infiltrated our country, and this is why Inspector Ray, FBI Director Ray, says all the lights are blinking red right now. For the first time in his career, all the warning lights are blinking red right now.
And to that point, we're very concerned about a terrorist threat. With what's going on in Israel and Hamas, that war there, right now you can have an easy access into the country. How concerned are you about having some sort of terrorist threat?
So I'm a physician. This is a code blue. I think it's not a matter of if, but when. 24,000 Chinese nationalists have crossed the border under Joe Biden. We know that they've set up police forces here in New York City, across the country. The cartel has stations all across Kansas, all across this country as well. So these terrorist organizations are in place. The Chinese are buying up land next to military bases. I am very fearful.
That's not a coincidence, is it?
No, of course not. I think that's, people ask me, am I worried about how many ships do we have in the China South South Sea. And I say, well, I'm concerned about that, but I'm not as concerned as a dual threat of Chinese terrorists working up with some Iran terrorists and making some type of an attack on our grid, and heaven forbid, some type of bioterrorism attack on our food supply. That's what keeps me up late at night.
What, and to that point, why, if we know that this is happening, and there's red flags all over here, this procrastination is just, it frustrates me.
Right, and I think this is why people have said they're through with Joe Biden. I think that's why we've seen the numbers flip. Vegas now betting on President Trump as well. Almost all the polling now shows President Trump leading. Part of it is because of Joe Biden's incompetence, but it's also because we know that Donald Trump is going to be the president for national security, the president of a secure border, a president that's going to make our economy stronger, that's going to allow us to drill baby drill last night, like you said as well.
What do you make of this impeachment inquiry? Since we're on the topic of Joe Biden, why will Democrats not acknowledge this when there is evidence, mounting evidence? We have emails. We have Hunter now being charged again. Why are they so against acknowledging that this is actually there's corruption here?
Right. Well, obviously, it's politically driven, that they're putting their own political party ahead of America's safety, well-being, and our own integrity. Again, I don't have a great explanation why, but you're right. We can connect the dots here. We've seen the millions of dollars coming from China and Ukraine to Hunter Biden, his shell companies, all these suspicious activity reports, over 150 suspicious activity reports, which are really warnings of money laundering from foreign governments, and then this money ends up in Joe Biden's back pocket as well. It's not hard to connect the dots, but by the way, we got to slow down a little bit. I want Joe Biden on that ballot in November as well. Let's don't get rid of him quite yet.
Okay. Do you think, though, that this impeachment inquiry, all this talk, is going to have any type of impact on how people vote?
I think for the most part, a lot of people are dug in. You either love Donald Trump or you don't like him at all. Right. I think that that Joe Biden's going to get about a third of the country no matter what he does as well. But there's people in the middle that, yes, the people in the middle, whether it's suburban women, we're seeing that floods of people from minority groups, women flooding out of the Democrat Party into independents, and they're starting to lean right as well. So I think as America learns of the rest of this, remember what you all have been reporting on for 2 years, many people are just reading it for the first time this weekend.
And it does get a bit confusing to get through all the details. Like there's a lot that we have been uncovering as part of this scandal. But let's go on just real quickly. You talked about independence. What do you make of these candidates wanting to run as an independent to take away from either Joe or from former President Trump?
Look, you know, it's America. I think everyone should have that opportunity to do so. I don't think anyone really has a realistic chance of making it. It does look like to me, though, most of the independents, well, it depends which poll you read. Some, Robert Kennedy may take more votes away from President Trump. Joe Manchin may take more votes away from Joe Biden. So it's a dice roll. I don't know where it ends up, but all I can say is right now, if you want a president that's going to secure the border, if you want a president that puts America first, national security first, to support the police, American energy independence, that supports agriculture, then that's Donald Trump. I think every day we're seeing Donald Trump's numbers improve, and I expect him to be our next president.
We have to leave it there, but thank you so much, Senator Roger Martin.